do new things, until they say, we all knew he would do great. Such wise words were uttered by a charismatic personality who paved his way to become an entrepreneur at the age of 17, a digital strategist, a National CIMA Prize winner, and a chemical engineer in the making in the University of Moratuwa, and a proud product of St. Joseph's College, Colombo 10. He is renowned to be the founder of Make It Count movement and famously known as the CEO of Icon and Icon Impressions. He is none other than Mr. Dulinder Pereira. Mr. Dulinder Pereira, the stage is all yours to inspire the young leaders of tomorrow to take on the world.
Today, guest of honors, distinguished Toastmasters, representatives of the fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. An installation of any kind is a very sensitive gathering. There are a lot of memories that flow around. I was just sitting over there, witnessing many of which that was taking place on stage. And year has gone by, the old board is handing over the KDU Toastmasters Club to the new board. A new year full of dreams, passion, movements, all of that. But the inspirational aspect of the whole is that each and every individual, including me who's speaking and you who's listening, we bond over one single topic. A topic that we believe that you and I both share the same passion for. Public speaking. As much as it sounds so comprehensive, as much as it sounds to be a topic with such depth, the little experience I've had with public speaking, I've always found public speaking to drill down to two basic concepts. One, making any time your time. Two, being authentic, genuine, and simply telling your story. Anything and everything that we speak about public speaking, anything and everything we do about public speaking, anything and everything we feel about public speaking, boils down, in my humble opinion, to these two specific domains. When you're speaking about making any time your time, let me give you a very brief story. This is something that happened during quarantine. Now, what did most of us do back when we were under lockdown from March, April, May? What did we do? Most of us stayed back, watched all binge watching Netflix. Most of us went through all the stack of movies, maybe went the second round as well, right? And we thought that all hope was gone. But then I was watching the video and saw how a trance session happened when you guys took your session on Zoom. We integrated with technology, we went by. Initially, everybody thought it's all done. We don't have a future, we don't have a way forward. We don't have anything to say for, we don't have anything to look forward for, we don't have a tomorrow to think about. Everybody had that phase, including myself. I had the fortunity, currently, I do have the fortunity, pardon me, to serve as a strategic consultant to Sri Lanka Army. And in April, I got a phone call from then the Chief of Staff at that time, Major General Lanka, that they wanted to speak about a specific concept Sri Lanka Army had about agricultural domestic sustainability, which now very famously goes by the name of Turumithuru Navaratak. Probably you may have heard of this concept. This was in April. We had a meeting at Army headquarters. There were a few gentlemen, and I was also there. And at the meeting, General Satyapriya asked us, alright, so we need to launch this particular project. What do you think of this? Give us your opinion as brand strategists, marketers, give us your opinion. How can we do this? How can we make sure that Sri Lankan corporates come on board on this matter and donate, be a part of it, and become sustainable partners? The go-to response of majority of the gentlemen around the table was, General, now is not the time. They said, this is a pandemic, companies are suffering, people are not willing to open up their bank accounts. The last thing in mind is agricultural sustainability as of right now. Now is not the time. And I can still remember what General Lienage, looking at the entire table, said, if now is not the time, then we are never going to come down to the point where it is time. Sitting over there, looking at the guests today, it brought me to a particular point where nearly 3 years ago, if my memory serves me correct, I was a contender as a young cavalier for All Ireland International All Ireland Best Speaker Contest organized by University of Caledonia. And my mentor was none other than distinguished Toastmaster, Madam Salgado. We were very used to call her Madam Salgado back at University of Moronto. She was my mentor, and right before the finals, I wanted to go and show her my speech. Went to her room, second floor, PNTC, and said, Madam, there's a small problem. We seem not to have a place for me to show you my speech. And she said, so what? Here's a room, you can do it. But the one thing that she did not understand was me being a lesser experienced speaker at that time. I was scared about the other lecturers who were in the adjoining rooms and that they would hear me. And I said, Madam, I don't think it's the time. This is not the time, not the place. And she said, if this is not the time and this is not the place, you're probably going to say the same thing when you go up on stage. And I ended up winning All Ireland Best Speaker Contest thanks to my mentor over there. Why did I share this story with you? For each and every one of us, there has been enough and more times where we would have thought, now is not the time. I'm not talking about big things. You would have gone and sat at Toastmaster meetings. The president, the office bearers would have wanted you to come down and do your icebreaker. Would have invited you to do your icebreaker. And you would have told them, now is not the time. Probably I will do it after my exams. I have 3 submissions. I can see people now smiling. They're being recalled. Yes, I do have a submission today. I have a couple of submissions in the making. I have exams. I'll probably do it right after the exams. Because as humans, we love to procrastinate. We love to say, not today, but tomorrow. We love to go on about it. This starts with the smallest of things to the biggest. You wanted to become, if any of you want to become an entrepreneur, you want to start your own company, what would you say? I'll probably wait until university is done. I'll probably wait until I have enough corporate exposure. But have any of you given it a thought? No. Today, when I go home, that's the time I start on my dream. Today, when you go home, that's the time that you start writing your first speech. Today, when you go home, that's the time that you start working on that project that you have kept on and on and on dragging. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact of the matter is, huge, humongous projects, accomplishments start with a very small feeling, with a very small intention, with a very small dream, but with a very bold move of telling, now is the time. What we started off in April, we have now cultivated, along with the Sri Lanka Army, more than 2,600 acres around Sri Lanka. Just last week I met the commander and we successfully completed the Central Province activation, the Central Security Force Division activation, adding another 126 acres. Had we ever thought in April, now is not the time, Sri Lanka would have been 2,600 acres short of harvest, cultivation and agriculture in general. Number 2 about public speaking, telling your genuine, authentic story. I have had the fortune of working, conducting branding workshops, public speaking workshops, personal branding workshops and whatnot. And usually when a workshop is done, the participants come and talk. They come with their personalized questions. They come and ask what bothers them most. I've heard a lot of people come and tell me, I think I'm not meant to be a public speaker because my pronunciation is horrible. I think Mrs. Salgauta can relate this so much. There have been some people who have come and spoken to you and said, I'm not meant to be a public speaker because whenever I go up on a stage, I get a panic attack. I'm not meant to be a public speaker because I was born and raised in a Sinhala speaking family. I'm not meant to be a public speaker because the depth of my voice is not enough. But ladies and gentlemen, if you drill down, these are your own insecurities holding you back from achieving a dream which is yours. I cannot stress and emphasize you enough. Whatever field that you wish to go for, whatever career pathway that you are choosing, wherever you want to see yourself in life, I cannot emphasize you enough how important it is that you are able to go in front of an audience, a gathering, and It can be a speech, it can be a presentation, it can be a narrative, it can be whatever that you want it to be. But if you do not have the confidence within your heart to go out there, be yourself, and tell your story, despite what career you are going to be in, you're not going to make it. I have also had the opportunity of working with Sri Lanka Tourism. We met the famous racer Kothalawala, who's been racing for Sri Lanka for the past 46 years of his life. He holds a Guinness record for being the oldest active sportsman in the entire world. And mind you, he speaks nearly 4 languages, including fluent Japanese. We wanted to do a program in which he speaks in Japanese. And mind you, it was a treat to watch him speaking in Japanese. Now, if I am to ever propose to you, can you raise your hand if any one of you would love to come on board and start learning Japanese with me starting tomorrow? Can I see a show of hands? Thank you. Now what's most interesting is there are a certain amount of gentlemen over there who raised their hands way in the back, and I said thank you, and then a few more started raising their hands. Why? We don't want to be the first one to raise our hand. We look forward for another person to raise the hand, and we love to follow, but we never ever want to be the one to take the initiative. Why? Because we are afraid of failure. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're afraid of failure, you're never going to win. So the next time, think about these 2 traits. And if you think long enough, you'll probably understand that this is not just public speaking. This is life. And if you think even longer, you will understand public speaking is not coming up on a stage and delivering a speech. Public speaking is life. For all of you over here, you have a bright future ahead of you. Unimaginable number of dreams that you are going to achieve. Unimaginable number of things that you are going to do. Each and every one of you over here, you have a story to tell, and there is a world out there yearning to listen to that story. So choice is up to you. Are you going to let the world hear your story, or are you going to let your story die with you? Remember 2 things. Make any time your time. Be authentic and tell your story. You've probably heard my story. I started off Icon in 2015. Icon is now a group of companies. We operate in 3 different countries. I also serve as a strategic consultant to Sri Lanka Army, and a little bit of this and that and the other. But that's not the most important thing. You've heard my story. It's time to hear yours. Do this for me. Go home tonight. Kill the lights. Get onto your bed. And just think. Just think. Isn't my story too important that I should never let that story die with me? Ladies and gentlemen, you have the amazing privilege of learning from the best how to tell your story to the world. Let that not go to a waste. KDU Toastmasters will help you get there. Learn public speaking, learn life, tell your story. Thank you very much for having me here, and good luck, all the very best.